What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode number 55 today of the My Player Career Mode. So, before we get into today's episode, we've got 4 games to come, 2 for Real Madrid and 2 for England in some World Cup qualifiers. And you all know how the last time England featured, how they got on. So, of course, we're looking to bounce back with England and looking for Ben to be the man that, I guess, can carry them in that aspect of it. We had a poor World Cup the first time round in the sense that they were knocked out on penalties by the Germans. Then they go to the European Championships and are knocked out yet again on penalties, this time to the Italians. So penalties being the kryptonite, I guess you could call it, of the England national team at the moment. So definitely need to improve on that front. But in the last episode, I asked you all what number Ben should wear as his squad number. There was supposed to be a little poll for you guys to vote on the top right-hand side with the I button, but for some reason, it didn't work. I set it up, and then as I went off to go to my job and then let the video play out, the I button just didn't appear. So, unfortunately, it wasn't on there, but it will be on today's video. So you can vote for Ben's squad number by clicking on the I button at the top right-hand side of this screen. I promise you, it should work today. If not, then I apologize, but it should work today. In which case, cast your vote. But for the purpose of that, guys, I did give Ben the number 10 squad number today, just because a lot of you guys were asking for it in the comments of the last one. So it seemed like number 10 was the most liked one that a lot of you guys were kind of, swinging to. So I gave him number 10 for this video, and you guys can see how it looks on him in this video. But the first game got off to a good start for Real Madrid. It was Aubameyang with a good run. He finds a nice pass across, who I thought was originally going to go to Ben, but instead it went all the way across to Gareth Bale, and he put Real Madrid 1-0 up in the game. So basically, guys, this game was just to see how Real Madrid were going to get on. They've lost a few kind of marquee, I guess, players, or rather, the marquee players are going down in overall. So it's going to be like, Ronaldo's not going to be as good as he was. You've got Benzema not being as good as he was, and Aguero, for that matter, as well, also is decreasing in stats at the moment. But as we took a 2-0 lead in this one, Ben into Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for him to nod in Real Madrid 2 in front. I didn't know what to make of this because, as I said, right, we've got this team at Real Madrid that won the league last year. They won the Champions League as well. And you're looking at this side thinking, are they able to do exactly the same as they did last year, except this time potentially win all 3, the Copa de España, the League, and the Champions League? If you look at the side, they've lost, of course, Marco Asensio last season. They've lost potentially a couple of other players this year, with the window still not completely done yet. There's still time for a few players to move on. Ronaldo's decreasing in stats. Aguero's decreasing in stats. Ramos is decreasing in stats. You've got a lot of players. Toni Kroos decreasing in stats as well. So you're going to have a situation where Real Madrid are going to lose a lot of players here who are actually, marquee players, good players for them. I suppose they did bring in Davinson Sanchez, and it was actually a mistake made, I do believe, by himself as he allowed Sociedad to get back into this one here at 2-1. He tried to play a pass out from the back, and it came to Willian Jose, who put Sociedad back in this one with a nice finish, to be honest. But yeah, so the additions that Real Madrid have made in the form of Sanchez, they've even brought in a couple of other players like Weiser, for example, at right back. Up until that stage, they didn't have a great right back. So yeah, they're making additions, but they're also going to be losing a lot of players. And that's one thing that I want to keep my eye on for Ben. For his sake, he needs a team around him that is going to be good enough to match his ambitions, I guess. And if Real Madrid can't provide that, maybe you'll have to look elsewhere to joining a new club. But for now, it's going well for Madrid. They just need to avoid making silly mistakes like that one there to allow Willian Jose to put Sociedad back in it. But straight from kickoff here, you can see Ben asking for the ball to be played, gets it played from his teammate. Eventually, it finds its way to Aubameyang. Aubameyang back to Ben. It's nice work originally as he defeats the defender by going around the other side of him. He then dribbles straight into the area, cutting it back towards Aubameyang, who gets a very, very nice touch on the ball there to direct it goalwards. That's a lot harder than it looks. He's got to get that completely correct. The ball came at pace. He didn't have a lot of time to kind of adjust his body, so credit to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang there, I have to say. It was a great little touch to allow him to put the ball in the back of the net, and it gives Ben his second assist of the afternoon. Both of them going to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well. So, I mean, for him, he's having a great performance, so is Ben as well. And arguably, it's going to be one of those two getting the man of the match today if it keeps up the way it is, because Aubameyang's got 2 goals and an assist, Ben with just the 2 assists so far in the game. Also, actually, on the topic of Ben and his, kind of situation with Real Madrid at the moment, being a Real Madrid player still, We've got a slight issue, guys. Ben is worth around about £120 million at the moment, and there's not many clubs in world football that can afford that fee. So if Ben does move clubs within like the next year or the next season, it most likely is going to be to one of like the European powerhouses, the European giants. So there's only a select few kind of teams that can afford to pay that kind of fee for him. So it might be a case where it might have to be a loan to buy option, you know, the likes of getting him on loan and then potentially, if it goes well, agreeing a future fee with Real Madrid for that situation. Because that could be one of the ways that he ends up leaving the club. Because right now, there isn't that many clubs that can afford the astronomical amount of money that he's worth. So that is also why he might be stuck in terms of being at Real Madrid, even if you guys want him to leave, because he might just not get an offer from any teams. With him being worth the amount of money he is, there isn't many teams that have that available to them. Yes, I suppose, you know, you got City that will be able to, possibly United, you know, Barcelona maybe, PSG potentially, Juventus. You know, some of these clubs that might be able to afford the fee might not even be wanting a player in that position at all. So for now, he remains a Real Madrid player, and as they pick up 3 points from the opening game there, it's looking pretty good. And one of the topics as to why Ben should wear the number 10 shirt, which one of you guys said, is that he's becoming somewhat of a hero in the series, and he's creating a kind of legacy for himself, isn't he? So for Messi wearing the number 10 at Barcelona, seems kind of fitting that Real Madrid have their very own number 10, and that is going to be in the form of Ben if he stays at the club, I guess you can say, if number 10 is picked by you guys as well. I think I'm going to put number 7, number 10, number 11, number 23, and number 8 within the list. So you have 5 numbers to choose from. They are what's on offer from Real Madrid at the moment, and you guys can keep casting your vote with the I button at the top right-hand side of your screen. I think I've got a feeling that it will be number 10 that does, in fact, win the poll, but I just want to make sure with an actual poll itself. So in that way, I'm not just going off the comments of last episode, which was, as I say, a renowned amount of you guys wanted number 10. You can see, again, a very strong side. It looks like Zidane's got his side set for this upcoming season with Rashford, Aubameyang, and Bale leading the line. But remember last year, Bale did pick up an injury for the like 3 months. So there's every potential that he will pick up another one maybe in the future. So we can't really rely on this set lineup every single week, as Sevilla now is the next opponent, and Muriel goes ever so close to giving the away side the lead in this one. The keeper makes a good save, but honestly, that could have quite easily bounced off him and gone into the roof of the net. So fairly lucky there that Real Madrid were not a goal down. But then in the second half, guys, we talk about Messi, we talk about his dribbling, we talk about the fact that he is Barcelona's hero. Well, I mean, you take a look at that goal, and for Ben, he beats 4 or 5 Sevilla players before finding the back of the net with the left foot. If that's not Messi-esque, I don't know what is. He picks up the ball in a game that's 0-0 when his team need him to step up, and look how many players he beats in order to get the left-footed strike away. And then it's just so clinical into the bottom corner, and it looks so much better with the fact that it says Wood 10 on the back of his shirt. Oh my goodness me. He's certainly making a case as to why he should be Real Madrid's number 10, why he's creating a legacy here as well with that goal there. It's not probably one of his best goals that he scored at Real Madrid, but for the circumstances that they were in, having a game where the first half they weren't playing well, still being 0-0 in the game as well, you know, they needed someone to step up, and of course it would be Ben to be the man that can do that. So he might not be able to carry England to I guess, international glory, but for now, he's certainly helping his case with the Real Madrid lineup. And 83 minutes in again, good work from him as he picks up the ball here, feeds it to Gareth Bale. Bale's strike is well saved, but it falls towards the back post for Sergio Aguero to tap in via the post. I thought at first he'd missed it, but he didn't. The Argentinian does get himself on the score sheet. And again, you know, he's decreasing in ratings as Aguero, so there's probably not going to be that many appearances from him this season. But for a squad player to come off the bench and stuff, he's not a bad option, even at the age he's at currently. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be sad, because we're going to lose Ronaldo at some stage, probably this year, if he decides to retire at the end of this season. We're maybe going to lose Toni Kroos as well, if he chooses to retire. I guess Aguero will still play on, even if his overalls are decreasing. Maybe Benzema will as well. So for now, we've still got those two, but I got a feeling that Ronaldo will probably retire at the end of the season, and maybe then Real Madrid will kind of get rid of number 7. Who knows? We'll see. But for now, it's a 2-0 victory for Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, and for Zidane's men, it's 6 points out of a possible 6 to kickstart the league defence off with. Now, as I said, Real Madrid are going to look for the treble this year. They've got the Copa de España, the La Liga, and the Champions League. 2 of those, being the League and the Champions League, they have to defend. So, yeah, they are like the holders at the moment. So, in many ways, they are the team to beat in those competitions, of course. They did get knocked out of the Copa de España, so they don't have to defend that one as well. But I suppose it would be nice, considering the fact that DJ Wood did win a Copa de España, that for Ben to win it as well. And he could potentially, as I said in the last episode, break the record of DJ Wood. He could take over and win 2 Champions Leagues, which is not something that DJ Wood managed to do. He only got 1 victory under his belt. So, yeah, Ben could potentially, become better than his uncle was. So for now, we're into some England gameplay. That's going to be it for Real Madrid. And we're into some World Cup qualifiers. The group for England here is quite tough. There's a couple of teams in there that might cause them a little bit of danger. One of them being Belgium are in this group stage. Then you've got Republic of Ireland, you've got Poland in there as well, and I think there's 2 other ones, but I can't remember off the top of my head who they are. I think one of them might be Finland, and then I'm not sure about the last one. Oh no, so Denmark and Austria are the other 2. There we go. So that is the group. So Denmark, Austria, Belgium, Republic of Ireland, and Poland, along with England in this group. So, of course, 2 go through to the World Cup, and it's looking, if you had to say from those 2, that in terms of quality, it's going to be between Belgium, England, probably Poland maybe will be in there as well with a shout, but you can't really write out, Austria, Denmark, or Republic of Ireland either, because all 3 of those teams can cause danger. Austria, they got a couple of good players. Belgium have, of course, got a solid team all across the board. Belgium are just one of those teams that's, so difficult to play against. You've got Republic of Ireland as well, of course. They play with their hearts on their sleeve. Then you've got Denmark with so many danger men in their side. You got Eriksson. You got Lord Bentner himself and a few other ones in there. So Poland as well, and not an easy side to play against. But when that happens to you in the first 15 minutes of the game, I don't really know how that has ended up being England's opening goal. You saw it there. Corner gets whipped in, and set pieces were never a strong point. They're never a strong point when Ben's on your side. He's quite small. You have that situation wherever you go. But, I mean, what on earth is Randolph doing? He's behind his goal for a starters. The line, he's actually behind the line when he's trying to save that. So when it comes off the bar and hits Rashford and goes in, unbelievably, I don't know what Randolph was thinking. Why is he behind the line itself? He's not going to be able to make the save because the ball will still cross it even if it didn't hit the bar. So I was stunned, absolutely stunned to see Randolph have that situation. But for Republic of Ireland, it was a disappointing way to start the game. And obviously, something has been worked on in the England training ground. Because again, another set piece, this time is whipped in towards a near post. And there is Michael Keane winning the flick on. And it comes off the inside of the post and nestles in the back of the net for England to make it 2-0 at Wembley. And England are taking a victory in their first game if they can hold on for another 33 minutes. Again, Randolph, you probably can't say that you can do too much about this one. The first one, I would say he's at fault for. But that one, it's a smart header from Michael Keane. He gets ahead of his man at the near post. And the delivery is exquisite as well from Ward-Prowse. It's just where you need it to be. So for Michael Keane, he could just, I guess, flick it on. The power's on the cross. He just has to glance the header goalwards. And he did just that. So Southgate's men are 2-0 up in this one. And it looks like they are heading for the first 3 points of the group stage as Jeff Hendrick comes off for Harry Arter to make his way onto the pitch. Both of those guys, actually, I do like Jeff Hendrick and Harry Arter. I think they're very good players in real life, of course, and 2 very, very good technical players as well. As you can see, though, that is the end of the game. Republic of Ireland have, unfortunately, lost their opening game of the group stage. But for England, it's a good way to start it off. Whether or not we'll be able to go further this time in the World Cup, I mean, getting past the group stage is fair enough, but then we just lose anyway. So, I mean, we'll see, I guess. But it's all important about getting there, and then they can try and improve on their performances. Belgium did defeat Poland, though, in the other game, so they did come away with a 2-0 win as well. The other, I guess, team in the group that maybe would be favourites to go out if you were looking at this at the bookies or something. But as his first 2 games have been played, we were still waiting on the other two teams to play. And you can see it was Belgium and England topping the group at that time. As we move into the next game, this one is against Poland. And looking at this game now, you look at the 2 sides, you look at it and think to yourself, this might not be as clear-cut as you first might be thinking. England here, with the side they've got, in terms of, I guess, a squad depth and a team, I would say they're a better side than Poland. But in terms of first 11 team, if you're just looking at the players that would start the game off, I would say that Poland have every chance that they might be able to hurt England here and potentially cause them a little bit of an upset. You can see we're taking them on over in Poland as well. So it's never going to be easy travelling over there. They've got Lewandowski in net, Lewandowski up front, Wojciech in net, of course, former Arsenal man, now at Juve. He's a solid goalkeeper in my opinion. I think he's a good shot stopper. They've got a few players as well who can cause you danger. Krajkoriak, of course, is a very good holding midfielder. And there's a few other players that I'm a little bit wary of in this Poland side. They've got Kamil Glik at the back. Very solid centre-back. Kaputska, of course, from Leicester. So the side isn't bad. The side is not bad at all. But for England, I would say on paper that their side is a bit better in terms of their overall quality. Every player on the pitch are very, very good at what they do. So as the game got underway here in Poland, started off with an absolute flyer in the 11th minute here. Robert Lewandowski feeding his teammate here. You can see as they get through. And better striker or better, forward, maybe that would have been 1-0 for Poland. I don't quite know why he went to that side of the goalkeeper. He probably should have gone across Jack Butland, but for some reason he tried going near post and just completely got it wrong. As you move into the 23rd minute now, Ben on the ball. Good turn of the midfielder there. He uses his strength just to keep hold of the ball. Somehow gets away from that defender. He opens up for him. And he was ever so close to getting his first World Cup qualifier goal of this kind of, I guess, games. But ever so close, off the outside of the post, and it ends up going wide, sadly. Couldn't quite go off the inside and go in. That just wasn't meant to be for Ben. But you can see, on the stroke of half-time, really good pass through here. Ben uses composure, ball as a defender, gets a nice cross towards the back post, and there's Marcus Rashford, his teammate, to nod them in front. Of course, his teammate at international level, and also his teammate at club level. But questionable defending, because I don't know if you saw the right back, he went on a little bit of a trip. You can see from this angle in a moment. Look where he goes. He just doesn't have a clue where Marcus Rashford is as Rashford holds out on his run. He wins the header at the back post. It comes off the inside of the post that time. Of course, Ben's didn't. But yeah, the defending wasn't fantastic from the Poland fullback there, and that is why Rashford got in to make the score 1-0. And when you think about it, I guess you could say that Ben is actually getting some working relationships with a few players. He had Harry Kane at Spurs and England, of course, when he was over there. Now at Real Madrid, he's got Marcus Rashford, both England and Real Madrid. So it seems like it's a similar situation to that of Harry Kane when he was at Spurs, when he played his trade in the Premier League. But 61 minutes in as we move into the second half here. Again, that old friendship of Harry Kane and Ben Wood from the Spurs days link up once again. And you can see they may be not playing in the same side anymore, but they have not lost their, link between the two of them. And you can see what it means as they celebrate quite interestingly, to be honest. Ben grabbing the head of Harry Kane and screaming into his face as it's 2-0 to England. And once again, another good performance, I would say. The Republic of Ireland game was kind of a nervous start to it. You can see with the goal that we scored originally to get in the lead that it wasn't a fantastic way to score. But then Michael Keane's header is a very good one. And of course, they didn't really rely on Ben in the first game. This time around, though, he's got 2 assists in both goals that have gone in today. So once again, he's a very, very good player in terms of his ability to create chances and even score them himself. So 2-0 up in the game. Poland, sadly, are heading for their second defeat of the group stage, of course, losing to Belgium and England. I would say, that they're probably the 2 hardest games that they're going to have to play anyway, so you can't really say that it's a bad situation for Poland to be in. But it did get worse for them because Ben did find a third on the score sheet for himself now, and he kept his composure. At that stage, Poland were a bit kind of all-out attackish. They'd started to commit some men forward, and gaps did begin to appear. And luckily on this occasion, Ben was able to exploit one. You can see, defensively, they're all over the place at this stage. They didn't really know what to do with themselves. And when he gets in there, he doesn't even go for power. He just passes it past the goalkeeper and says, there you go, we're going to score that regardless. It's 3-0 in the game. England heading for another 3 points. And it's going to be interesting, actually, when Belgium take on England to see just who is going to be the better side between the two of them. Now, remember, of course, Belgium were in the group of death in the European Championship, so England haven't actually played against Belgium yet, and it's going to be interesting to see, as I said, who's going to come out on top when they do feature against each other. But for now, that is how we end the 4th game of the episode, guys. England picking up 6 from 6, Real Madrid picking up 6 from 6, and it's been a good start to this campaign for Ben as well. Remember, he's got to defend his golden boot and his assist title in the league as well. So Belgium actually drawing with Austria. I said that this group is going to be interesting because there's going to be teams that can cause upsets and stuff like that. So, for Belgium, that's not great. Now it keeps them 2 points behind England, who now top the group. So yeah, for Belgium, that draw does leave them a little bit red-faced, I guess you could call it. But I'm showing you a squad report, guys. If you want a full kind of squad report, you can check it out. I'll put it in the next episode for you. But I was going through the signings that Real Madrid have made. Of course, Mitchell Weiser joined up. They've got Davison Sanchez from Spurs. They even brought in another Spurs player as well in the form of Zedjan Shaqiri. £45.7 million for him. It seems like Real Madrid are shopping at Spurs right now. It's like that's their Morrison's for, their Asda for them. It's crazy. So another Spurs player brought in by Real Madrid. And you can see they have a whole bunch of talent as well, as I'm going down the list for you to look at in terms of what they've got coming into the side. So it's still going to be a good season for Madrid. They've got a good squad, but it's now going to be about building on and trying to defend the 2 victories or the 2 titles that they already hold and adding to it with the Copa de España, but we'll see if they can do that. Other than that, guys, that is how we end today's episode off. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you for your continued support, guys. I really appreciate it. I will see you all again at 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow for another video, guys. Catch you all then. Adios.